Some Ordinary Gamers has a vid on it. Oh, thank God, he's so much better than Hassan. Give me one quick sec.
Hello, guys and gals. Me and Mudahar. Today, I never thought I'd be covering something regarding controversy involving free and open source software. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a controversy. We have a little bit of a hoopla around software. Now,
bro, fix your cam.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all know what OBS is, Open Broadcaster Software.
Okay, I'm gonna say something. I'm ahead of the curve because I'm just goated as fuck, and I have 9 billion HQ.
It's basically 33% of my YouTube cracked-in gaming setup. I use this tool to record my screen all the time. I use it to stream to YouTube and Twitch whenever I feel like it. So when I use this software, I was under the impression that most people use this software. But see, OBS is open source software. It's literally in
Oh, God damn it, dude.
The name, Open Broadcasting Software. The beautiful...
What I was trying to say is, I've been using OBS, okay, my entire career. The only problem is, Streamlabs seems really necessary for, like, the alerts. Is there a way to get alerts without Streamlabs?
His mouth is in last place.
Shut the fuck up.
Thing about free and open source is anybody can take free and open source software and fork it to whatever they want. I could take OBS's source code and make Muda OBS. Basically the same thing as OBS, but I just plaster that god decrepit image of me on every single video that you make at 5% opacity. Could you imagine how annoying that would be? Yes, it would be, but I could make that software, publish it, and people could download it, compile it, and use it like they would OBS. Now, Streamlabs OBS is another tool that a lot of people use. You've seen it around. I've actually noticed a lot of people confuse Streamlabs OBS with OBS, like they're partnered or something. So basically, you have OBS and slobs. I don't know why I'd use a software with the acronym slobs, but people do anyways. No, ladies and gentlemen, Streamlabs and OBS were never partnered. They never were. Streamlabs OBS is what we like to call a hostile fork. Basically, they didn't do anything, I guess, legally wrong. They took OBS's software, but they branded their own thing on top of it, and it pretty much is what it is. OBS is better software.
Hold on. To my knowledge, Streamlabs OBS has certain extra features, like the integration of Streamlabs, to make it a little bit easier to be able to manage alerts and things like that natively in the application. You can manage a library of widgets and things like that natively in the software. That is a little bit better than just normal OBS, but yeah. So it's not like exactly the same. There is additions, substantial additions.
Than slobs ever will be, but tons of people use slobs anyways. But let's get started. This is lightstream.com. Okay, go Lightstream. Now, Lightstream is kind of like web streaming software. So basically, if you're on an Xbox, a PlayStation, you can stream to their servers and then overlay your webcam and all these other tools on top. So basically, it's a live streaming software built into the web. You pay monthly for it, but it makes a whole lot of stuff easily accessible, easy to access, easy to do. So they made the software, which is Lightstream, create more professional and impactful live streams. So it looks kind of cool, right? It looks kind of poggers indeed.
Sure.
In fact, look here, cloud capture for console streams. So if you go to Streamlabs, they're making something called Streamlabs Studio.
Better, ads to, I'm assuming OBS, that are better than Streamlab for free, better than premium. I don't know. Maybe that's true or what have you. I remember, I think it was Booksmarts or something. Maybe having an issue with them. I don't remember who. But yeah, I know that there's people. I've just never really done any fucking shit with any other thing. I just use OBS because OBS is convenient. I like how much control I have in OBS. I just like it. So I haven't really used anything else. I've heard people say that Streamlabs OBS is better. I've heard people say OBS is better or what have you. It's just, it is what it is. I just picked OBS because I like OBS. I like the look of it and shit like that. So it's just easy to use.
Yes, they have in fact kind of copied this page a little bit. In fact, at further glance, it's actually something that anybody could confuse. Look, I'm not Mr. Magoo or anything, but that looks suspiciously close to the exact same website. Jesus Christ. Now, I thought, hey, maybe this is like fake news on the internet. I went back to good old-fashioned Wayback Machine, and I looked through all day, every day, baby. That screenshot does not lie. So let's...
I don't know. The first thing I could think of as an explanation for this is maybe they're both using like Squarespace or some shit, and they just picked a similar layout for this. Maybe they just picked a similar layout in general. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they maybe saw the website's success with engagement and were just like, hey, do this, but avoid a lawsuit. You know. I want you to do the same thing. They clearly have good analytics. Do the same thing, but, you know, dodge a lawsuit.
Let's go look into it. Cloud capture for console streams. Cloud capture for console streams.
Yeah, they probably
verbatim copied them word for word. They have the same three, you know, square design. They probably use the same like UX design too, or just straight full layout and design control. Guess what? Streamlabs got full layout and design control. At least change. Guess what? Streamlabs got full layout and design control.
All of the text? No, not all of the text is the same. Sorry, I was reading all of the text. Doesn't look like all of the text is the same, but a lot of it is.
At least change up the wording a bit. All you need is your console. Go live in minutes from your console. Yeah, they're basically just shipping you the same feature, right? But if you go down over here, remote control from your couch, whoa, Streamlabs can do the same thing too. What's really damning, on the other hand, is let's go all the way to the bottom here real quick.
I'm making the assumption, like, I didn't see it. I'm making the assumption, though, that Streamlabs OBS this website edition came after this other website that we're looking at. I'm gonna make the assumption that we did a research on that. Or are we just assuming that it didn't?
You see how these people have, like, some reviews? Like, this guy just... Lightstream is literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Thank you so much for making it so easy. I bet that's a real review. But let's go over to Streamlabs website. I shit you not. Let's go all the way down to their old website. This is their Wayback Machine stuff. Straight up said Streamlabs Studio is literally one of the greatest things Euro ever discovered. Thank you so much for making it easy. Wow. It's like it's the same fucking review. If you go back to Lightstream site, their second review...
Is this really that big of a deal? Companies do this all the time as a standard comes out. Looks like at a gaming console game tip companies, they all have the same basic loadout and wording for all their advertisements. I think to the level that it is at is quite unique. So the layout of the page, I agree with you. That's pretty normal based on what I've seen. Like that, like, oh shit, this is getting really good analytic shit. Try and copy this, but avoid a lawsuit. But the like word for word shit is a bit much. Like that's pretty weird. Like, hey, I mean, it is what it is. We'll take a look at what it is. I mean, people aren't necessarily saying, like, throw out lawsuits, but people are, it seems like, are just saying, like, these people clearly don't give a fuck about other people's work.
Love this platform. Love how they listen to their community. And then you go back to the Wayback Machine on Streamlabs. Says, oh, they're a gamer, by the way. Love this platform. Love how they listen to their community. It is the perfect platform for console streaming. Yeah, I bet that's a real review, right? Game community. And then you go back to community. It is the perfect platform for console streaming. Yeah, I bet that's a real review right there. They're not even hiding it. So this was so...
I don't really care about the reviews. I think almost all reviews on all websites are fake. Every single last one of them. Probably like fucking 40% of the reviews on Amazon are fake. I just don't... I'm sorry. The review shit, I just don't care about.
So bad. This is such a bad copy that the actual CEO for Lightstream straight up called them out on Twitter. The team at Streamlabs should be ashamed. I agree, friend. Not satisfied enough to ride OBS Project's hard work? Ooh! Ooh! Oh, I can feel the Linus Torvalds in this one. Now to copy ours down to the layout and every word on our marketing site and our UX in this project.
I work in digital marketing, and you would be surprised how common practice is, especially for digital advertising. People will verbatim take the copy used in high performance ads for similar products to boost their own clicks all the time. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Like I've talked about before, I just think that seems to be that would make sense. Something seems effective. A marketing strategy seems effective. Copy it. Why wouldn't you? The fuck?
Guys, didn't you learn in school that plagiarism was wrong? Come on!
The only issue is, like, this light stream thing or whatever the fuck they're supposedly copying. I've never heard of this shit in my life. Never heard of that shit in my life. So maybe I'm just fucking head in the sand or whatever, head in the grass or whatever. The fuck the saying is. And shit, but, like, I don't know why they'd be copying that. Really gets 5 out of 5 for me. So insightful. Fuck you.
Use a thesaurus at least. Jesus Christ. Before they were brought out, they actually cared about streaming. Hell, I paid them for a bought out? Ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you. How much was good old Streamlabs bought out for? Let's get a quick check on the internet. Ooh, 2019, Logitech agrees to acquire Streamlabs, adding streaming tools. Wait, how much were... Ooh, $89 million in cash, with an additional payment of $29 million in Logitech stock. Ooh, imagine, dude. I feel bad for OBS Project, you know, the team behind the original project. These guys literally came in, started a company, took their open source project, maybe slapped on a few extra dog shit features, and sold it for nearly $100 million to Logitech. Do you think Logitech even knew that Streamlabs OBS was entirely different, or basically the fucking fecal matter of OBS? I don't think Logitech knew, to be honest with you. I think internally they're probably throwing a memo around right now going like, guys, did we make $100 million mistake? I don't know, guys, maybe. Now, even then, what really gets wild is the OBS team, the OBS project, and I say team, but it's actually, I think, just one person behind the entire thing. Near the launch of Slobs, Streamlabs reached out to us about using the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to. They did so anyways, and followed up by filing a trademark.
What?
We tried to sort this out in private, and they have been uncooperative at every turn. Believe it or not, this is the trademark. From what I understand, this is what it is, a registered trademark for Streamlabs OBS, filed in 2019, and currently I think it's still even registered and active. Yes, they filed a trademark on Streamlabs OBS. Even when they reached the original people said not to, they straight up threw the trademark. They caught it, they put it in, and then they sold this project later on to Logitech. And that's just how the story ended. We often faced with confused users and even companies who do not understand the difference between the two apps.
I'm not gonna lie to you, there have been moments where I've been confused, and there's also been moments where I've talked with other streamers that are confused, but the thing is, we kind of get confused about different things. When people say, like, you have Streamlabs open, I'm like, do you mean Streamlabs OBS, or do you mean like the Streamlabs like browser thing? And like that gets so confusing. Like, go to your Streamlabs. I'm like, do you think I have the Streamlabs like OBS, or do you think I'm using Streamlabs a browser? It gets really fucking annoying. But hopefully everyone will stop using Streamlabs OBS, and then everyone can be on the same page using OBS, and then whenever somebody says open Streamlabs, finally it'll just be the browser, and I will not have to answer or ask those stupid fucking questions again.
apps. Support volunteers are sometimes met with angry users demanding refunds. We've had interactions with several companies who did not realize our apps were separate. That's true. Most people don't understand that open source software, when you go to the master branch, everything underneath it, all right, is different software. It's just forked stuff. For instance, Linux. I'm a huge Linux person. Ubuntu, great operating system, great distribution. You know what it's actually just forked off of? Debian. You can still get the original fork from what Ubuntu is based off of. These mother branches are great. They're great pieces of tools. And then other people come in, fork the software, and add their own little touches to it, but also give back. What you're looking at over here is a distribution map of Linux distributions that exist out in the wild. Now, inside one of these points is Arch Linux, which is what I use, right? But to give you just an idea of what we're talking about with open source, at the left-hand side of this, the original points that you see are mother branches. So the original variants, where the original code was created, and then as you move towards the right, you start to see it branch out into different points. Those different
chat, is it me or is the right side of this thing red? Is the right side of this thing red and then the left side white? What the fuck is happening? Is this an optical illusion?
Points are effectively just forks. Now this is Linux, but imagine this for OBS. If OBS exists, it would exist on the left-hand side, right? And then all the Streamlabs OBS, everything that OBS ever was forked to, would go to the right-hand side. But the original branch still exists. The beauty of open source software is that people can take, modify, enhance, and then put back into the main line, the mainstream, overall helping everybody in the chain out. Hostile forks will just take the original software, do some really scuzzy shit with it, and won't really give back a whole lot of enhancements as they properly should. With Linux, on the other hand, you have big companies and small hobby programmers and experts all jumping in and enhancing together, which ends for a much better product towards the finale. That's what we're getting with in this department. That's sort of the best hopeful case of open source and free software. That said, let's head on back right to OBS and see exactly what they have to say about slobs. Legally, they have obeyed the terms of the GPL, which is a licensing agreement, but they have repeatedly disregarded the spirit of open source and of giving back. Despite these actions by Streamlabs, the OBS project will continue to...
I know he just tried to explain it. Giving back, isn't it... What does that even realistically even mean? I don't know what that spirit is. I don't know what the Holy Spirit is. And he tried to explain it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think some ordinary gamers explained it like dog shit. I just couldn't even really follow. Is it just supposed to be that you keep your shit open source and you're supposed to provide improvements on the original architecture? Is that it?
Provide free open source and tools for everybody. We will continue to support our users, the community, and our amazing developers for their hard...
Streamlabs open source? I don't fucking know. I ain't got no fucking clue. I'm assuming the implication is that it isn't. You take the code, you upgrade it, then you return the upgraded version. I'm assuming you mean you keep it open source, and that's what it seems like people say.
Work.
And then you integrate it into the main program? Wait, what does that even integrate it into the main? Wait, isn't it a derivative of the main program? Why that doesn't make any fucking sense. If it's a derivative of the main program, entering it back into the main program would just not happen. You would just make it open source again. It's a derivative, no? That's how derivatives work. It means Streamlabs engineers on payroll implement CPU usage improvements. Them doing the correct thing would be to committing that their fork and telling OBS original devs about the improvement so they can use it too. I understand.
Which is a good thing to see, okay? Open source software is great. In terms, free software is kind of what drives a lot of
Wait, I thought Mudahar said earlier that they're dog shit compared to OBS. So which one is it? Should Streamlabs OBS integrate all of their improvements? Or is Streamlabs OBS inferior to OBS? And therefore, there is no point in providing those improvements? You can contribute back new features or bug fixes to the open source project. Right. Sure. Wouldn't that just be contributing the derivative that you've made? So I have an original product, I make a derivative of it, and then I say, hey, these are the changes that I've made. Just download my fucking patch and be like, all right, bet. You download the patch and upload it. Isn't that what it is? If this happened in reality, Streamlabs would not commit it until their product is a CPU efficient. I see. It would just say that all OBS is more CPU efficient. It's inferior and uses more resources generally. My CPU example was hypothetical, I understand. So then wait, why would we be upset at Streamlabs not giving back if they have an inferior product? They shouldn't give back because their product is trash. No?
Back and forward. Look, again, I'm a Linux.
The thing we would get upset at them about would be the trademark shit.
Choose for myself. For us, we're like 1% of the market
Stealing
share.
is bad? Well, it's not stealing. It's an open source shit. All of the derivatives that they've made is dog shit. I mean, I guess you could say false advertising, and the way that they're marketing the name is that.
We drive our kernel.
I think it's about them selling it. Sure.
Most of the world's backend. A lot of big corporations come in and take from Linux, and in a lot of respectful ways, they do end up giving back.
Their only additions to the product are things that are not usable by general OBS because it's only client-side things relating to the API. Sure, that makes sense, RDBA. So what is the call to action that they enable that API server integration to be able to be like an add-on or a plugin for OBS? Is that the demands? We don't know if the product is bad because they hide their updates and changes for profit. That is a dick move. I mean, so it's not open source because I don't know if it's open source or not. Well, I'm gonna make the assumption it isn't because it was open source. They can just yoink it. But Streamlabs is literally open source. I don't know what's the problem here. Oh, it is. I don't know what this shows me. I'm not fucking learned in this.
Linux. It actually uses a fork of Arch Linux. It uses something from them, and basically they add on top of features that they create. So, for instance, Steam Proton, the ability to play Windows games underneath Linux. They build upon that. They're actually finding a way to get anti-cheats to work underneath Linux, and it's probably going to be something that their operating system is definitely designed to do. Now, since they're creating an operating system forked from open source software, they have actually committed to giving back and releasing it for everyone. So that means even if somebody owns something like a GPD Win in my case, which I use to play something like Mass Effect Andromeda over or many PC games, I can install SteamOS 3.0 on this and have my own version of the Steam Deck without giving money to Valve in any capacity. That's a good example of how open source software works. I can basically have my cake and eat it too on any device I feel like. Now, for Microsoft, even a big company like them will give back in the Linux sphere as well. For instance, this is Microsoft CBL Mariner, which is their own distribution of Linux. You can build this yourself, you can download this yourself, and you can keep it yourself. This is the same distribution Microsoft uses on their
7-hour-old news Streamlabs removed OBS from name. I hope people just use OBS. I hope that's a thing. White Nervosa DGG clone has a GitHub repo. It hasn't been updated in 18 months. Lots has changed since then, meaning they aren't complying with the license as a good example. They're complying with what license? I'm sorry, this is too confused. This is a bit much for me. I don't know if I can take anyone seriously with a G Fuel tower. I don't blame you.
Servers
DGG's license? Oh, they're not keeping up with the you're talking about the DGG's like updating and shit like that?
Corporations and anybody willing to give them the few bucks a month.
Wait, you have to get a GitHub license? The fuck is a GitHub license? I don't know what the hell this is. I don't know shit about this. I don't know fucking dog dick about this shit.
Good example. This is a good fork. Where we get into hostile forks is exactly what Streamlabs is doing. Trademark filings, all this bullshit, trying to make it look like they're the top dogs, when in reality, they're not even the ones that are truly the top dogs. Their entire existence is based off of another person's hard work, and basically, anytime they add on to the OBS project, Streamlabs or whoever is owning them benefits just by having their software updated through that original fork branch. I don't know how much Streamlabs adds to it. I don't even think they do much. I think their software is actually inferior from a technical standpoint, but that's a whole different story. There's been a few people that have come out and talked about Streamlabs and their involvement, like during, again, a lot of this can be hearsay, but I feel like it should be covered anyways. During my time at Streamlabs, so many people in marketing were reprimanded, put on PIP plans, and were fired for speaking up against unethical business practices, to the point where they basically got rid of the entire marketing team by late 2018. You see shit like the blow up today and wonder, how did they do that? You think someone in the room would have been like, hey, this is a bad idea, right? Right, Streamlabs fires those people for not being team players. Yeah, any form of discussion that could potentially save your company in the future, even as hard as it might sound, you wouldn't do. Here's
your voice sounds kind of like his. I just don't believe you. Like, I don't think my voice sounds like his almost at all.
I can actually check Sean P. I actually trust this guy because he did the hoodies for Some Ordinary Gamers. This guy knows his shit. He basically said the amount of convos I saw and Slack messages I wish I screenshotted that basically amounted to, can we lie about our features? Slop's taking less resources. Lol. Basically how they're technically better. They're not. OBS is better software. Use the original branch. Give him the money instead. Give them the money. What's funny is the director of technology for Team Liquid, the sysadmin and developer for OBS project, straight up came out and said,
I think it's pretty scummy to yoink an open source program and then just fucking trademark it. So it'd be like, I mean, just you make a product, you want to share it with the world, you think it's pretty dope to make something open source, that way everybody can have access to it and shit like that. It's free, it's accessible for everybody. And then, like, somebody's like, oh, yeah, it's a pretty sweet deal. Yoinks that fucking shit, makes a couple of changes, and is like, boom, throws a trademark on it, and then, like, is like, hey, we have the best product in the world, and shit like that. And is like, okay. And then you, on top of that, they aren't respecting your wishes to change the name. They're, you know, aren't paying back to the original owner, you being the original creator. That is a pretty scummy thing to do, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think that shit's pretty scummy. But maybe that's coming from me because I love the fact that OBS is like free and easy to use software. I love shit like that. I really do. I like it when I can have access to open source software that's just free. It's just easy to use. Real fucking easy to use. And that's what this shit is, you know? I don't know. Yeah, I like it when people do shit like this, and I use it every day because I think of the reality, or like think of an alternative. Like, what if I had to pay for my streaming shit, my streaming service, like every day? Like, let's be honest, if I was paying for like OBS, the equivalent of OBS, and they didn't, the open source, broadcasting service, OBS didn't set the standard of it being free, it would kind of be ass. Because I imagine that they would probably not be that great performance-wise, and that much better, if at all. And I'd also have to pay money for it. So it's pretty pog being able to stream for literally $0.00.
Let's not forget about the time Streamlabs bought targeted ads for OBS Studio to trick people into downloading their version. Disgusting behavior from Logitech. Yeah, this is what they were going at. Basically, if you typed in
targeted ads for OBS Studio? Really?
Behavior from Logitech. Yeah, this is what they were going at. Basically, if you typed in OBS Studio, they would be the first ad. Look, this is standard practice. I'm not going to dip down into the hellhole that hard. But to understand why this burns me is as somebody over the last couple...
I think this matters more than some of the other shit he was talking about. I think that this matters quite a bit more. Because, like, if you look up OBS Studio and you're looking for the original OBS, then like you find the thing that they were explicitly told to avoid, which was OBS had told them, hey, could you not use our name? It gets like it's confusing for people and shit like that. And they're like, hey, fuck it. You know what? As a matter of fact, we're not going to change our name, and we're going to make it more difficult, and we're going to make everybody assume that we are their only OBS by buying targeted ads on OBS Studio. I think that's pretty cringe. I care about this a lot more than I care about a lot of the other shit he's been talking about.
Didn't open to the hellhole that hard, but to understand why this burns me is as somebody over the last couple of years who's been promoting Linux and free and open source software. Anytime I make those virtual machine videos, anytime I make videos about Linux, anytime I talk about Linux gaming, a lot of that hard work is done within the community. People sit down and sit in a fruitless endeavor to create open source software that they then spread around. And sure, people can take it and people can profit off of it. What Streamlabs has done isn't illegal. They're not going to go to court over it. It's just hostile and incredibly unethical in terms of software. It's fucked up that there's a lot of people out there that put their heart, blood, sweat, and tears, whatever you want to call it, into the entire project. All right, drinking their cups of cum while they're working and slaving away at code. And then you got making literally not even thousands of dollars a month. That's like lucky for these people. And then all of a sudden, Streamlabs comes out of nowhere, brands their product to every streamer out there. People grab it, they download it. Somehow they become this de facto product all over, while they've basically contributed almost nothing. And then all of a sudden, Streamlabs is selling for millions, tens of millions, almost $100 million out into the public market. And that's got to burn a little bit. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, as of today, Streamlabs posted, we are taking immediate action to remove OBS from our name. Basically 10 minutes of web development stuff.
I'm surprised Muda hasn't brought up the founder tweet about I'm saying yes, you can use the OBS in your GitHub repo name.
We take responsibility for our actions.
That was rights to use it everywhere and trademark it.
And your sell-offs and acquisitions. Absolutely. Time for the responsibility. But
doesn't matter? What doesn't matter?
Ladies and gentlemen, all they did was take out OBS from Streamlabs. It's like, again, wow, good job, everyone. Congratulations. You did some hard work today. Good job for you. So I'm going to stop this video off by just saying, if you want to actually support OBS a little bit, go over to their website. In fact, here's the Patreon right now. Normally I tell you guys, hey, use code SOG, but G Fuel, I love you. I love this product, but thanks not your video. If you're gonna spend any money, you spend money towards OBS. That's what you should put that shit
back up.
Because the fact that Streamlabs decided to go this hard and ruin their image that quickly is something of an internet testament. That said, though, I hope you learned something about the value of free and open source software, and I also hope you had an enjoying day today. This is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I'm about to go game on a Mac.
Wow, cool. Gaming on a Mac. He said he's gaming on a Mac. Wow, cool.